Hello everyone, this is Crypto Maximalist. Welcome back to another video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and get involved if you like the content. So we're having a look at Vechain here. We haven't done this in a long while, but when you just eyeball this chart with no technical analysis on it, basically apart from this line which I've managed not to delete somehow, it's a very technical chart from what I can see. There's a lot of levels here being really well respected. Overall on the daily time frame here, this is very I'm just going to draw in a few lines here and it's going to start to make a lot more sense. But I think this previous swing high here coming back, resistance and support, this is beautiful looking resistance flipped into support, and we've come back and we're retesting it as support right now. Again, after this huge overextension to the downside that we've seen, obviously with the bear market territory that we've been in the past year or so, Vechain, ever since it hit that all-time high last year at around April, obviously we came back up, made a lower high here, and we've just never recovered for Vechain since then. Along with the wider market, really everything just rolling over and looking quite bearish. Realistically, you would say that things have just been going down and down and down for Vechain, haven't they? You've got, if we zoom in here, we'll just draw in a few key levels that we think are poignant. We've obviously got a resistance like this. We'd also say there is a key resistance looking something along the lines of this as well, from this high to this high all the way down. And then you've got, we're looking kind of like a GAN fan right now, aren't we, with these resistances? But we'd say, this first resistance here potentially getting broken out of. As you can see, we are just chopping it sideways. Vechain with very low volume, very low interest in the project right now. As often happens when you're in bear markets, obviously the volume drops off completely. And if you're not really in those top 10 cryptos, you lose a lot of interest in the cryptocurrencies, don't you? You can see here for Vechain, that is really the same story. We could just draw in a few key levels here that have been essentially lost. On the way down, we did have this area of support here, and this area here as well, interestingly enough, which have been essentially lost on the way down, which is interesting to see. This chart though, there's something about it which is really fascinating me. It's almost like a mirror image of itself reversed on the upside of this bit here. You can see we're coming down. We're obviously bearish market structure, making lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. We come down with that massive overextension to the downside. We're on the upside here in this big, this is a massive push, isn't it? This was not sustainable at all, and we did say that at the time, that this was a hugely unsustainable move. And then it looks as though we've come up here, haven't we? We've essentially made a massive double top here with those huge divergences here, losing a massive amount of momentum. We roll over back down to this previous swing high area as support, haven't we? But we've come back up, and we just could never essentially come back up and challenge that high again, could we? We didn't make it there. Obviously, when you see these higher highs and higher lows here, you're thinking, okay, we're just going to continue to the upside. But with Bitcoin in general, leading the market, we did see Vechain basically suffer and roll over massively. A lot of altcoins getting absolutely decimated from that all-time high. We're currently down at around, what is this, 2.5 cents for Vechain currently. If we just measure this from the top to the bottom right now, we're currently down around that 92% level, which is, generally we're getting towards those bear market lows, aren't we, in terms of how far down altcoins can drop. It's, usually it's between 90 and 95% from that high. So we are in that territory right now for Vechain. And if you look at this critical level that it is sitting on right now, these are some very interesting levels that it is currently sitting on, at least on this chart. I do think the 2018 high was around 8 cents, just off the top of my head, when you adjust for their new tokenomics that they introduced a few years ago. But Vechain right now looking like it's just consolidating, going sideways. Let me just get rid of a few of these lines to make it easier to see. The same thing really is Bitcoin. You could say realistically we're just in a range like this, aren't we? And until we break this range, we are just going to be chopping it sideways, simple as that. With the low volume, the RSI is pretty much smack bang in the middle right now. It's been stuck under our EMAs for a long time. Never really getting back above them on the way down here, just making those lower lows and lower highs like this, but looking like potentially now starting to do something like this, where we might be forming a significant low on the chart from what we can see. we come down here, and we do think we are starting to find the lows when we see these big bullish divergences. If I can just actually draw this in, you can see obviously price action coming down, RSI coming up. We're losing momentum to the downside. You can see it also on our MACD. We come down, we're obviously losing momentum here. We get a little bit of a push to the upside, and now looking like we've got some bullish momentum in general, but just basically going sideways here, still stuck under the EMAs really. You see these pushes that we do get, they do get rejected fairly fast. A push here as well with a little bit of an EMA flip, but you know, once we hit the top of this range, Bitcoin I think rolled over on this day and dragged Vechain back down to the bottom of its range like this. But as we said, realistically, until we see a break of this range in either direction, you can see we've got highs, lows, the high retested again, now down here again, retesting the lows. Unless we see a significant break to the downside for Vechain, doing something like this, losing the low, and back testing and continuing, then we're basically still in the range, aren't we? We've not seen too much signs of life for Vechain right now, although looking like it does, if we zoom in here, does look as though it wants to potentially come up here along with the rest of the market and at least get back above its EMAs and do something like this where it moves towards the upside. We've seen a lot of cryptos in ranges, looking like they're heading back towards the top of their range. Vechain not following suit right now, at least in this current range that we have highlighted here. But we do think realistically, if the market does start to head back up, Vechain is obviously going to follow suit. So in terms of price predictions then, just keep things short and sweet. If we're heading to the upside, you want to see a clean break of these EMAs, back tested really. We've got these swing high levels here at around, 2.7 cents, which need to be, broken through. Back down to the top of the range, back up to the top of the range, I should say, at around 3.4 cents would be our target to the upside for now. And, if we're heading back down, very strong support down at that 2.1 cent level. I think that 2 cent psychological level here as well is going to be a massive level of support. If we did roll beyond this, we're basically rolling down to that next swing high, previous swing high support of 1.7 cents, aren't we? So that's it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you check out the links in the description below to support the channel. Grab yourself some free money bonuses, and we'll see you in the next video.